Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Boys Unknown. My god, the Halo internet community, it's on fire right now. It's a war zone out here.
It's a goddamn war zone. The Reddit got shut down.
Yeah, it's back up now
A
though.
lot of you guys have probably heard the Reddit got shut down. Toxic comments, all kinds of backlash that basically started from the fact that the incomplete launch kind of stuff and like the game modes, and then it just started there was all kinds of stuff.
It spiraled out of control like everything does on the internet. Let me just say, if you're out here trying to dox people or send death threats, you are a rat
shit.
weasel.
Like, yeah.
You are such a
Yeah, you're
My
just
God.
a loser. Like, death threats,
Go
doxing, all that
outside.
shit is just if at the end of the day, all you're doing is just making it harder for real criticisms to be heard if you're just being a complete idiot.
We're a bunch of monkeys floating on a rock through infinite space, and you decide that you need to online harass someone. Like, you're a loser.
Like, harass people on Twitter and shit. Hey, this particular employee that literally has no control over the entire company. Like, you can't just pick out one employee and single them out. Like, you did this. Like, I'm gonna do this to you.
Dox and death threats. I mean, that's extreme. It's one thing to have criticism and be mad, but it's another thing to go to that. I mean, you're a loser if you do.
Yeah,
No, there's no other way. And I think almost 99% of people know that. It's just like the couple Russian bots and
the bots
and
the clowns and the 14-year-olds
and the absolute circus clowns on the internet that do this shit, and then they ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, then they ruin it for everyone. But on the other side of the coin, to immediately just make blatant statements and say that everyone who has complaints is toxic or is being an ass or like mistreating people or whatever. Like, to blanket the other side is also unfair as well, because people have there's real criticisms about this multiplayer.
Yeah, there is real problems, and you shouldn't feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad for criticizing.
At the end of the day, I think the lockdown was necessary to just cool everybody off, and I'm glad that they opened it after a day.
So let's get into Sketch's post.
But anyways,
the one that
Sketch's post
started
like,
this fire.
The biggest takeaways from Sketch's comments for me, the fact that we actually kind of called on a whim, where the game is built around challenge swaps and even the UI, but I feel like it's just look at even the UI. Like, where's the room for more stuff with the big things? Like, unless like the way it's designed, like, unless there's a scroll wheel, is built around only having like 3 or 4 modes with limited time modes cycling in and out.
I thought that was the dumbest thing when you said that, and like it turns out you were bang on.
Yeah,
like you said, like, there's UI limitations.
What if there's UI limitations that make it so they can't add more game modes or add specific game modes? Just it so blatantly obviously looks like it's just like they focused on how can we monetize this first, and then looked on branched out from there, and that's why they're like pigeonholed into this terrible system where it takes so long to implement new game modes, because there's just like everything is just built. Imagine if you like built a house and the foundation is garbage. Like, the house is gonna you literally almost have to, they almost at this point to add Slayer have to build the entire house again almost, and that's why it's taking so long to add these game modes. That is just, it's just concerning that even made it that is how the game actually launched. Like, what were I just can't wrap my head around why they thought that would be a good idea.
It's a 10-year game.
Yeah.
So, like, shouldn't they have been kind of planning that they were going to add stuff? I mean, I don't know. You can sit here and debate back and forth, like, what was going on behind the scenes.
I just think that
I guess we'll never know,
call.
but it's just, yeah.
That's just a bad call. I mean, even Sketch, like, uses the specific example of the feasibility of adding Slayer. He almost literally mentions, if you read between the lines, that adding Slayer will just make it so certain challenges are too easy to complete, and then it messes with the progression, and you'll have certain players flying through the progression because the progression is based around not being able to control what games you're going to play, which I think that is just at the end of the day, like, you can't pinpoint like a specific person, and no one should be singled out for these problems. Like, Sketch didn't make these problems himself.
Oh yeah, let me just say, like, for people attacking Sketch, this guy actually seems like a genuinely
he's one
nice
of the nicest
guy. And
yeah,
being any sort of community guy, like I also just think about like, you know, like the presidents, they always have their like media like person, like Trump had that girl, Biden has this girl, like he's the same sort of thing, like he's just the guy
they're like
sending the
rod.
message, and people just attack them, and it's like this has got to be the worst job on the planet. Like I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, being a community manager.
And Halo actually has some of the best community managers I've seen in gaming, which like is noted. Credit where credit is due. At the end of the day, these guys aren't like, people think these guys are literally single-handed. I've seen comments that say like the community managers are single-handedly ruining Halo, and they think that like the guys like the CEO of the company or like the VP making every single decision. This guy is just a messenger at the end of the day. To say that the like one specific design point or like a specific flaw can be pinned on one person, it's kind of ridiculous. It's definitely like, you know, the group as a whole, you know, it's just at the end of the day, they've either, you know, they've made poor design decisions.
None of this invalidates any of the criticisms and anything we've said at all. Like, I mean, the launch of this is very, very bad, but
very bare bones.
I mean, what can you do now? Now you just gotta take it and live with it, and hopefully they come out with a roadmap, like we said in our last video. Like that's all we want to see is like a roadmap
for all the issues,
to fix and see what's coming, you know? I'm definitely not about to start taking pity on them, especially as all this is going down. You know, they say all these things, but at the same time, they're in the shop selling 2 pineapple grenades for $10.
Yeah.
And then we find out the battle pass was supposed to be 120 ranks, not 100. And most likely it was chopped down to 100, and then the rest of the stuff was put in the store or saved for later on. You know, like shit like that. It's like, it's kind of hard for me to ease up on my criticisms and feel bad when like I just keep seeing more and more shit like this.
And I feel like honestly the, you know, Sketch's post almost raises way more questions with just like the why did they choose to do it this way and stuff like that, you know.
To transition to a positive point though, after seeing all the campaign reviews today and just kind of getting a glimpse at what the campaign has in store, I truly completely forgot about the multiplayer's problems. Just for a moment, I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, campaign is my favorite part of a Halo.
Exactly.
It's not the multiplayer. So like, I'm still, we said our last video, discover disappointment should be the motto instead of discover hope.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, I had hope, and then it was destroyed, and now I've kind of rediscovered hope with the campaign reviews, because it turns out I mean, I know all of them got early access, so, you know, some people think like, oh, they're not being honest, they're just kind of bullshitting us, but I think there's a lot of people that are giving honest opinions on it, and I think it is going to be a good campaign, and I'm back to being really excited again. Hopefully while we're mucking that campaign, they slide a couple updates in the background for multiplayer.
Or maybe they come out with like, you know, a day one update blog, like, hey guys, this is what we're going to focus on next.
All right, boys, thanks for watching. That was our thoughts heading into campaign here. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe,
whatever.
Do whatever.
Don't share, like,
Thanks.
and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.